Listen, I've got a confession to make. If it wasn't for Twitter, I wouldn't be here tonight. And if it wasn't for Twitter, I wouldn't have heard about Ignite coming to Brisbane until it was far too late. But more about that in a second. I'm curious, who here has heard of Twitter? Show of hands. Okay, and who's got their own Twitter account? Keep them up. And who actually uses it? Okay, and who's using it right now during tonight? Awesome. When I first started tweeting about 12 months ago, I was curious as to what it was all about. And I think the best description for it is it's a communication tool for people to share ideas with one another. But for those of you that are new to Twitter, let me explain how it all works. Firstly, you set up your own profile and you get what's called your Twitter handle. And you'll be able to see that Ignite Brisbane has chosen their name as their Twitter handle. But if you were doing it, you might use your own name or you might create your own nickname and put a photo of your face or a photo of your company logo there as well. Once you've set up your profile and said a few words about yourself, you get to follow people, and that's really cool because you can follow anybody who you like. You can follow celebrities, politicians, sports stars, friends, family and colleagues, and by the same token, people can follow you as well if they think that you're interesting enough to follow. Then you get to communicate via tweets. Now, tweets should be thought of like a little speech bubble. You've got 140 characters to actually say something. But this is all well and good, but it begs the question, why? Why should I be on Twitter and why should I use it? To me, there's two major reasons why you'd be on Twitter. The first is to learn stuff from other people, the people who you follow. The second reason to be on Twitter is so that you can share your own ideas with other people. But of course, like with anything, there's rules. There's things that you can do and there's things that you can't do. Generally on Twitter, if you break the rules, you tend to get crucified and everybody will have a go at you, which is a bit scary, but you can relax. It's not that bad. It's actually just like real life. Think of it like one giant cocktail party. There's lots of people there, there's lots of strangers, some people you know, most of the people you don't actually know. And the same rules of social etiquette apply on Twitter, are the same rules that apply in a cocktail party. So if you find it at a cocktail party, you'll be fine on social media. So it's really a whole heap of conversations, most of which are not inclusive of you. Some of the conversations you're involved with, some of them are one-on-one conversations, some of them are one-to-many conversations with people listening. So like with a good conversationalist, the key is to listen to other people. Listen first before you get involved. And listening on Twitter is really about observing other people, seeing how they interact, and learning the ropes, I guess, before you get into it too quickly. Once you've done your listening, then you can start to get involved, ask questions, make your own tweets, and it's amazing. You can ask a question out to the people on Twitter and you'll get an answer instantaneously normally, and I've learned a hell of a lot of interesting things by just posting questions to people out there. Mind you, if there's one rule that I would suggest that you keep in mind, it's don't shout. Now, shouting on Twitter is pushing your products and advertising your products before you get to know people. It's like turning up to a cocktail party where you know nobody and jumping up on the table and telling everybody how wonderful your product is. But I'm not perfect. I look back and I cringe at some of the tweets I first made, not because I was shouting, but because I was boring. I was telling people that I was going for lunch or that I was in a taxi or that I was going to the airport, and it makes me shudder. If there's one... the key actually is to add value. Nobody cares, or 99% of people don't care what you're having for lunch, but if you can add value and tell them something that they didn't know or introduce a new idea to them, then there's real value there. If there's one principle that's paramount on Twitter, it's to be authentic. Now, Hugh Jackman once sent a tweet saying that he was at the Sydney Opera Centre. Now, of course, as an Aussie, he should know that's the Sydney Opera House, and he got totally crucified by people on Twitter, and it hit the news and everything like that as well. But he actually overcame that by being honest, which is the second key. He actually owned up and said that that was his American publicist who was tweeting on his behalf, and that from now on he promised he'd be making all his own tweets himself. So how did I get here tonight? Well, one of the people I follow, Hannah, she retweeted a tweet from Ignite Brisbane saying they were looking for speakers, and it sounded like an excellent opportunity, and that's how I got here tonight, purely to Twitter. So Twitter is a really cool place to be. You can learn lots of information from other people. You can share your ideas with other people and build a following. So it's a great place. If that sounds like fun to you, then certainly I encourage you to get involved and give it a go. It's really quite fun and addictive. Now, if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. If you'd like to follow me, there's my Twitter handle, Franklin_Adam. I look forward to any questions in the Twitter sphere. Thanks for having me tonight.